The biggest factor in determining whether or not you will meet your goals or achieve that future vision you have of yourself is your mindset. Your mindset, or the collection of attitudes you have about yourself and the way the world works, is the biggest determinant, the biggest influence on how you feel and the actions you take. Today, I want to share with you these 3 habits that could be detrimentally impacting your mindset on a daily basis and why they are so negative to your mindset. Okay, the first habit is imagining the worst case scenario. Now, all of us have done this from time to time. This is where before an upcoming event, situation, conversation, etc., we spend time fantasizing and thinking about every single thing that's going to go wrong. How we're going to embarrass ourselves, how we're going to get laughed at, how people are going to respond to us poorly, how we're just not going to do the best that we can do. When we think about all of the bad things that can happen, all of the worst case scenarios, we are not only training our brains to believe and expect that that is what will happen, but we are also ingraining that as a memory in our mind. So our brains don't necessarily know the difference between us imagining something, especially when we're imagining it happening over and over again, like public speaking and having people laughing at us. The more that we imagine that scenario happen and the more detail and time we put into those fantasies, the more our brains register those things as memories. So what happens is when we do get up to do the public speaking or have a conversation or launch a new product or ask someone out, whatever we are putting ourselves out there to do, our brains recall a memory of us doing it poorly, a memory of us not doing it well, of us being responded to in a negative way. When those memories come up in our minds, when we think about all of those things not going well, we immediately have an emotional reaction. So if you think about yourself up on a stage and you're giving a speech and people are snickering or not listening to you, or maybe they're responding poorly and being very negative, when you have that memory in your mind, if you visualize it right now, you have those resulting negative sensations in your body. You feel the fear, you feel the anxiety, you feel the butterflies, you feel the shakiness, the sweatiness. All of that starts to actually come up for you. You have that actual response as if it's happening right now. And then what happens as a consequence is you get up on stage and you have those same sensations and those same feelings in your body that you had when you were fantasizing about things going wrong. If you're the kind of person that does this, that imagines the worst case scenario coming up, that takes time to visualize and sort of rehearse in your mind even how things are going to go wrong, think about how engaging in those visualizations and in those fantasies about the worst case scenarios is impacting your mindset, how it's making you feel more pessimistic or less hopeful or more negative. So the second habit that may be hurting your mindset is asking advice from the wrong people. Often what we end up doing is we go to the people in our lives that are going to make us feel better in the moment, but not necessarily push us to the level where we need to be, right? So we might be seeking out people for advice that are just going to make us feel good about where we are right now. The people who are like, wow, you've already worked so hard and look how far you've come. So the kind of people who are going to validate us and try to make us feel good about what's going on in our lives right now, or how far we've already come, or the success we've already had. And that is not inherently a bad thing to have those people in our lives. But when what we want is to work towards a goal that's kind of out of our reach or out of our comfort zone, or towards a vision of ourselves that's on a higher level, so a place that we haven't gotten to before, right? Then what we need are those people in our lives that are going to help us bridge the gap between where we are right now and where we want to be. What we want to do is actually seek out advice intentionally from the kind of people who are going to say, you know what? You've already shown yourself you could get this far. Now let's talk about what you could do to take it a step further. So if this sounds like something that you do, that you go to people for advice that are not necessarily the people that you need advice from in that area of your life, they're not going to be the ones that contribute to a more optimistic, hopeful, or motivated mindset, then just start thinking about more intentionally. When I want to talk about X, Y, or Z, who's the person that's going to give me what I need, right? Do I need motivation? Who's that person in my life? Do I need hope? Who's most likely to give me hope or help me feel inspired? Do I need to feel optimistic? Who are the people in my life or in my circle that I know that I could reach out to who have a very optimistic mindset about X, Y, or Z. So just be more intentional about who you go to for advice, who you seek mentorship from, or even who you look to for support can go a long way in improving your mindset in that area. A third habit that can hurt your mindset is taking action in alignment with your limiting beliefs instead of taking action as the future you would like to be. So let me give you a really specific example. Let's say that something you desire in your life is to be seen as a leader, but your limiting belief is that you're quiet and shy and introverted, and that's how everyone is always going to see you. If you take action from that limiting belief, then let's say you show up at an event. If you're getting ready to walk into the room and you're thinking, everyone will always see me as a quiet, shy, introverted person, you are more likely to go into that room and go find a seat in the back or at the end of the table and pull out your phone and find something to do and act like that shy, quiet, introverted person, right? Now, if instead you think about how you'd like to be showing up as the future you, how you'd like to show up as a leader, what that might look like, how you might walk into a room and smile and make eye contact and greet each person by name individually and ask how they're doing, how you might sit at the front of the room or in the front row. Then if you take action as that person and you walk into the room and you walk over to someone and you look them in the eye and you put your hand out and say, "Hey John, it is so nice to see you." Even if you feel insanely nervous, even if you are shaking and sweaty and your heart is beating a million miles an hour, even if you take that action and you do it again and again, that every time you have a situation where you can take action from the vision of who you'd like to be, instead of in alignment with that limiting belief that you'll always be this shy, quiet person and that's how people will see you that way, you will create a pattern over time, right? A pattern of behavior. You will see yourself over time acting in alignment as this person you would prefer to be. And then what will happen as a result is that you will have developed all of this evidence in your mind for the person you wish you could be, the person you desire to be, that over time your mindset will start to shift and you will start to see yourself as that person. So this one isn't easy, right? It's not easy to go outside our comfort zone and go beyond the person we believe and see ourselves as right now to acting in alignment as somebody we aren't quite yet, as a person that we don't quite identify as yet, or goals that we haven't accomplished yet. However, if we can push ourselves little by little to take action from this future place, over time, it is unavoidable that our mindset is going to shift, right? It's guaranteed that we're going to start seeing ourselves as this other person, as the person who's accomplished these things, because that is how we're acting. Those are the behaviors we're engaging in. If you're somebody right now in your life, you are somebody who takes action from a place of your limiting beliefs, this would be one to start really thinking about. How can I start taking action from a place of who I'd rather be, who I want to be, the goal I'm working towards? Even if they're small, tiny little micro actions, they will add up over time. Those are 3 habits that could be hurting your mindset. And if you found that any of them resonate with you, that you've been practicing any of these habits, that's a good thing. It is a good thing, because the first step in changing any of our habits is our awareness of them. If this video was helpful, please consider subscribing and hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video.